Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Monday. It is 2:42, first video of the week. Got to cover some ground. I figured I'd make a quick video real quick for everybody to go over some specifics with the market, what I've done today, this morning. And I think this will serve as kind of a roadmap for the week. So let's just jump right into it. First and foremost, oil is down today. As you can see, 5%. Trump said yesterday, it was reported on Twitter, that he ceased some bombings that were planned, ongoing conversations. Again, I'm not going to go into the minutia of this, as you know. I short more oil on the days that it pops. I cover oil on the days that it drops. So with that said, let me first say that I have covered my entire position of UCO. I no longer short UCO, and I'm going to explain the reason why. I began shorting USO last week. USO is also doing well for me. I'm up a little bit over 10% on that. USO is the true reflection of oil in the market. It is essentially the ETF for the oil fund. It's the United States Oil Fund. In times of past volatility, whether March, April, May, it has been very, very difficult to short this stock because shorting works off of shares that are borrowable. So you have to be able to borrow to short from an individual that holds the shares. I'm not going to overcomplicate things, but just know that this has been very, very difficult to short. I was able to short it back in May, and then I got out of my short, I covered, and then there were no shares to borrow, so I couldn't short it anymore. The significance of that is USO's borrow rate is less than a half a basis point to borrow to short. So it's very low cost to short the stock. Where conversely, options, if you buy puts on, let's call it USO, you have time decay, intrinsical value. Again, I'm speaking Chinese for people, but I'm going to try to keep it simple, stupid, as the term goes. UCO, though I just closed it out and I had over a 17% profit, this is a very, very heavy shorted stock. So because of that, the borrow rate was almost 9%. So I was paying a 9% daily or yearly based off of a daily rate. It was just too expensive. Though the trade worked out very well, but with the availability of USO having shares available, I added last week on the pop when oil was up 10%, when Trump says we're going to bomb the shit out of them again. So I added to that short. That was the day that I started USO. I added a little bit to UCO, covered. So I am now just fully in a USO short. I did add a little bit today to the short, even though I normally wouldn't with this number. But because I rang the cash register show to say with UCO, I transitioned a little piece into this on top of the initial piece from last week. All right, I digress. That's enough with that. We're going to go into Bitcoin. Let's go there real quick. I think it was announced today that Jim Cramer, which famously I do everything inverse of him. If you don't know who he is, he's Mad Money talking point. Anything that he says, I basically do the opposite. He said today he sold all his Bitcoin. Fantastic. Also, Michael Saylor has been authorized to sell Bitcoin in his MicroStrategy fund. Even better. So what that means is capitulation for me is setting in. I think exhaustion is happening. I think we see an upward move. As I said it already in the last 2 weeks, I am long Bitcoin, relatively decent size. So that's the update with Bitcoin, moving right along. The NASDAQ, and I'm kind of moving a little bit fast because I have a lot of ground to cover. So today, great move up. Big day. This will be our third upward day. And I always say that flexibility is your best ability. And you have to know that V-shaped recoveries are possible in this market. It happened in April and it happened last year. This is a V-shaped. And then it happened again here. Could it be happening? I'm not forecasting that. And honestly, back here, I was taken out of a lot of names that I was stopped out of. So I'm gonna show a demonstration of something that I live by, but we're at a pivotal point right here at the the 21. If we can break through this 21 today on above average volume, that would be a telltale sign. I'm going to point out an illustration of something that I find to be very important. And again, I'm talking very fast, so excuse me. So the first book I ever read when it came to trading was How to Make Money in Stocks by William O'Neill, Bill O'Neill. He's the one that has the acronym CAN-SLIM. And so this illustration is really, really important for me because when you have corrections, kind of what we have what's called attempted rallies and then days and then a follow-through day. What we always want before we go super long is the follow-through day. And the follow through day does not have to happen 1 or 2 days after. It just has to come, as you could see from the illustration, on 1.25% higher volume within day 4 to 7. So what you're trying to ensure is, okay, when you have all of this down drip, you're going to have a day like this because short sellers who have made a lot of profit on the way down, they're covering. You want to make sure you're not buying into a dead cat bounce that is just short covering. And that's the whole illustration here. You don't want to buy this and then you go right back. So here, and a lot of people, they will rush to get in the market. And the reason I'm taking a minute to explain this is you didn't have to buy this. You didn't have to buy this day, or this day to make a ton of money. You didn't even have to buy any of this, okay? You could have bought right here and held to here, and you could have made a ton of money. You didn't even have to catch this move. You could have got scared here and said, oh man, I bought here. I got scared on this red day. I'm out. You still made a ton of money. You don't have to be the first one in. Fools rush in. You need to get confirmation. Same thing with this. You know, you had a day here which was clearly capitulation. This was last year during the tariff tantrum. Then you had this monster day up, right? That technically wasn't the follow-through day, but you had to wait all the way to here to get that follow-through day. But we got it. So even if you got in here, you got all of this. My point being that I'm trying to illustrate is you're not going to catch the bottom. You're never going to catch the top. And so my rhythm and rhyme might seem off to a lot of people. And they're like, but Jack, these valuations are beat up. And, oh, I could buy but you don't know, first of all, you don't know how low this can go. And you don't know when the recovery period is going to happen. So you always have to practice capital preservation and you have to manage your risk. And I think so many people lose sight of that. So my point being is today looking great. I would love to see this volume tick up by the end of the day, but you could have a follow through day as early as tomorrow. With that said, you should have your stock list ready. You should have names that you're ready to buy, and you should probe the market. I should not use the word probe. I'm trying to get better at saying these terms. Anyways, with that said, I did buy some stuff and I'm going to go into that. But that does not mean you want to go balls deep yet. You don't want to go, sorry, I'm not supposed to say balls deep. You don't want to go and release all your capital here without the correct follow through. So again, practice some risk. However, start probing the market. Start getting your feet wet, wet your beak, so to say. So let's go into it a little bit here. We've touched on that. I'm not even going to bother. Gold is whatever. It's flat. So what did I buy? What did I not buy? Where are we at? What do we have of significance this week? Okay. First and foremost, let's touch on something I bought this morning, which is Corning. This is the maker of Gorilla Glue, also the maker of the glass that goes on the iPhone. I bought a position to start this morning. I was very lucky. I bought it when it was up 1%. I'm up 5% on this. Whoop-de-doo. I did not, admittedly, I'm probing the market right now. So I'm not going in my normal size position. This is a half size for me. So I want to take my time. I'm okay if it doesn't stick. So I bought a half position of Corning. So that's a new position for me. $1,000,000 to 1, which still looks fantastic. I exited out of this last week. I got out of this last week, but this still looks good. This is actually a pullback, super constructed, not financial advice, but rather for educational purposes. This is a buy today if you're looking for a small pullback in an area to go in. This looks fantastic. I admittedly am no longer in this. I might go ahead and wet my beak back in this today. I don't know yet. Haven't made my mind up yet. Liquidia, still have my position intact, though this is turned down, and I have set a stop right here. I don't want a good trade to go bad, and I have profits here. So 77.64 is the bottom of the low from the beginning of last week, or yes, the beginning of last week. If we violate this low of 77.64 prior to that wick, I'll be stopped out and I'll have like a 10% profit. I'll keep it moving. After I traded this last week, oh shit, I'm all disheveled over here. All right, form factor. Okay, I bought this for options, did great. I closed the options. I made 350% on those options. So to all you that got into it, I'm waiting on my liquor from you guys. This is on my watch list and I'm ready to buy when the market gives me a follow-through day. I have not ready to probe the market with this, but with those strong earnings that they crushed it, I'll look to get back into this. I had a good trade last week. So this is, I'm making my list. I'm checking it twice. SpaceX, I covered half my short this morning, and I have half of the short active. The reason I did that, and I think it's important to know, is tomorrow they release earnings. They're still not a profitable company. They're probably still going to bomb. I'm just not interested. I'm up over 30% on my short, so I covered half, rang the cash register. I have half. I'll see how tomorrow goes. If the morning it's deep red or down, I'm probably going to close it all, because then it's probably going to get a little pop for earnings, and I'm not interested in losing my profits. So there's that. Still in Tesla, I'm just demonstrating this just for people. Yeah, I mean, whatever. This is not one that you need to check your list. This has got to fill a gap. Actually, I take this back. Let me take this back a second. This is going to fill a gap. So if you're looking for a trade, this is on your trade. So you might want to look. This will fill this gap back up to 370, excuse me. I actually had a conversation with somebody about an hour ago via text, and he's jumping in calls. I actually think he did it about an hour ago. He's doing calls with a 370 strike. I'm not telling you to do that. I have a relatively large position shares, but he's jumping in calls at 370. He happens to be somebody I trust when it comes to options, and he's doing that. IGV continues to keep rolling. I have been transitioning and moving money into software. IGV, I mentioned this the last 2 weeks, looks great, double bottom. I think software is going to take out this top. That's my opinion. I have a position there. Dell, my favorite looking chart. Maybe this time I don't look so foolish when I said favorite looking chart. God, I got that wrong with Intel, but this actually looks super good. If I did not own this today, I would have been buying this today above all the averages. Bar none, best looking chart in the market that I can scan for. I scanned for 2 hours, and every scan that I scanned yesterday had Dell basically the top of my list. Once we take out this high, I think we're going to see $500. Dell looks fantastic. Here's one that I'm going to play. I don't know what I'm going to play it yet, but Primoris reports earnings tomorrow. This got crushed. I'm going to have this on my watch list. I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow. I might just take an option call. But yeah. Now, something I really want to talk about is SanDisk and memory. So I think SanDisk, I think the bottom is in. I'm going to go on record. I said it last week. I think Micron and SanDisk, the bottom's in. It's having a 7% day. I did buy this morning on a trade. I probably won't hold this by the end of the day. The market, it's 3 o'clock. I'm probably going to sell this today for a 7.5% profit. This was more of a day trade for me. I think the bottom is in. I think shorts are covering. Earnings are on Wednesday. I am undoubtedly, I mentioned this last week, pay attention to me. I'm going to play earnings on Wednesday. I'm going to take calls. I don't know the strike yet, but I'm going to definitely take calls on Wednesday before the earnings. I think SanDisk is going to pop bigly. So SanDisk, Micron, I got stopped out, but this is also on my probe list. The minute we could clear this or get a follow-through day, I'll be right back in this very heavily. I just need to get confirmation. So this is going to be a name that I will undoubtedly buy the minute I get a follow-through day. If we don't get a follow-through day, I'm going to buy it. It's really that simplistic. Intuit, I own this. So it had a dip on Thursday after this big day Wednesday. I admittedly had to buy the shit out of this dip Thursday. So here we are. I have a pretty good size position. I plan to go into earnings with it. I think they're going to have a good earnings. I think they've integrated some AI components. I think they're going to catch up. I beat a dead horse with this. So anyways, there's that. What else we got here? AMD is on my list that I want to enter. I need this still. I need confirmation. I'm not in it, but I'm making my list and I'm checking it twice. So this one's going to be on there. Oh shit. Let's do bio because I touched on bio. IMNM still looks good. Reports on the 6th still looks good. However, TGTX. So guys, let me take a second to go into this because this fell really nasty today above volume. Down 10%. I'm not going to lie here. I bought the dip. I would never. Normally, I don't advocate for this. I was up 25% in my trading account. I'm only up 15%. I'm up like 60% in my IRA on this. I'm not worried. So first of all, I want you to understand who they are. They are a leading drug manufacturer for multiple sclerosis drug, MS. And this drug is about to become $1 billion drug. They talked about their pipeline and raises their drug guidance. You see their guidance specifically to that one drug. Their guidance they raised to $905 million. Their target is $1 billion. That is their buyout. They want to get bought out. Merck or somebody's going to buy them out. I'm okay buying this dip. I think this is a gift. Normally, I would never advocate for slicing averages. Could this go a little bit lower? Fine. I'm okay holding this. I have tons of conviction on this. This is a hold for me. Sure, I probably should have lightened up before earnings this morning. Didn't happen. They missed on EPS, by the way. So if you look at the headline, they beat guidance, they beat earning. I'm sorry, they guided forward strong. Their earnings were very positive in the sense of revenue, but their EPS fell short. Whatever. I bought more. The trader in me would say not to, but the investor in me says common sense, just common sense. Trade desk still in this. This reports on the 6th. This looks like absolute crap, but I had to buy it because I think this is just so undervalued. So not usually my main style. All right, let me go into things I own in my IRA that now I have added. Microsoft, I added last week on Friday in my IRA. I've had this in my IRA for a very long period of time. I think this is going to break out to new all-time highs, so I added a larger position. And then Google, I mentioned this a couple times. This is a screaming buy. If you're looking for a stock to buy, here it is. Google, absolutely a buy in every sense of the word. IRA, trading account, anywhere you want it, anywhere you need it. I think you need to buy it. And then Amazon crushed earnings last week. These are 3 of my largest holdings in my IRA. I don't really think it gets that complicated with me. Amazon, Google, Microsoft. I don't really know how you could go wrong. I sometimes think to myself, if I had all my money in these 3 stocks, I wonder if I'd outperform. I don't know that that's true, but hard to argue how great Amazon's earnings were just absolutely amazing. And I mean, sometimes for people that invest in stocks, I always say, buy the stocks that you use on a day-to-day basis. We use Google probably, most of us do. Amazon, I know I do. Microsoft, not as much as I used to. I still use Outlook, but in any case. That's it. So you have my purchase earnings on Wednesday for SanDisk. There's a lot of excitement around things. I think this is super healthy. Let me just go to this real quick. Guys, you want to make sure this is not, again, I'm not trying to beat a dead horse. If we get a follow through today, tomorrow, you need to, no, this is not financial advice. You should position yourself accordingly and put your foot on the gas. If we get it, need confirmation. All right, guys, that's all I got for the beginning of the week. I hope you guys have a great trading week. Be diligent. Keep your eye on the prize.